Good morning, everyone. My name is Sankit, and I'm an applications engineer at Wolfram MathCo, the team behind Wolfram System Modeler. Today, we will be discussing a topic that's becoming increasingly relevant for homeowners worldwide. That is, should I invest in rooftop solar for my home? In this presentation, we will try to answer this question by modeling our energy demand, simulating solar power production for a geographic location, and then combining them to analyze the potential savings. The workflow that I will present can be used by you to determine if solar power is suitable for your specific geographical location. But first, why should we consider rooftop solar? There are three key reasons. Solar energy is clean, renewable source of power. It also minimizes energy losses since it is consumed where it is generated, reducing the need for long distance transmission. Second, the cost of solar photovoltaic panels and batteries has dropped drastically in the last decade. For example, in 2000, the cost of solar energy was about $6 per watt, but today it has fallen to less than 50 cents per watt. Similarly, the cost of lithium ion batteries was $450 per kilowatt hour in 2010, but it is now around $181 per kilowatt hour. Experts predict that these costs will continue to decrease, making solar energy increasingly affordable. Finally, grid electricity prices are often affected by global events such as geopolitical tensions, fuel price fluctuations, and supply chain disruptions. For instance, when the Russia Ukraine conflict started in early 2022, electricity prices in Sweden spiked to around 30 euro cents per kilowatt hour from 20 euro cents before the war. Solar energy offers a way to gain energy independence, reducing reliance on these external factors and stabilizing your energy costs. Before we dive into modeling solar power, it's essential to understand how we consume energy. Knowing when and how we use energy will help determine if solar is a good fit for us. Understanding our energy pattern will help us answer questions such as, is solar available when we need it the most? Should we use a battery or can we do without it? What is our peak power and can our solar generation be enough to make us grid independent? Energy consumption patterns can vary significantly based on the household, but in this presentation, we will use a model that can be used to generalize based on climate and common energy consuming appliances. But what are the major energy consumers in a typical household? According to a report from the EU, major energy consumers in a European households include space heating, water heating, electrical appliances like lighting, refrigerators, and dishwashers. Space heating consumes around 64% of the energy, followed by 15% of energy for heated water, and around 20% of the energy is used by lighting, kitchen, and other electrical appliances. In this presentation, you will see how simple models can help predict energy consumption. For a more personalized analysis, you would need to tune the parameters to match your specific household profile. We will use my own house in Linköping as a case study and assume a roof area of 100 square meters. For those unfamiliar with Linköping, it's where I am currently located delivering this presentation. It is in Sweden and 200 kilometers from Stockholm. To start with the analysis, we need the climatic conditions of my location. Primarily, we need data on solar radiation and ambient temperature data. I collected this data for 10 years from 2005 to 2015 using the free PVGIS tool, which provides hourly solar energy data and other climatic data for any geographic location. Here's how solar radiation and ambient temperatures in Linköping look. The radiation reaches a maximum of 800 watt per square meters during summer and minimum of around 100 watt per square meters in winter. The ambient temperature varies between minus 10 degrees Celsius in winter to around 28 degrees Celsius in the summer. But why do we need the climatic data for our analysis? As we saw earlier, space heating is one of the largest energy consumers in a home. By using ambient temperature data and the desired indoor temperature, we can model the space heating and cooling demand. To do this, I created a simple thermal model of my house using system modelers built-in components. The model includes thermal mass of the room. It is represented by thermal capacitor, which simulates the heat stored in the air inside the room. Heat is transferred to and from the ambient environment through the walls. Heat is also added to the room through radiation, and the presence of occupants further contributes to the room's heat load. The model adjusts the amount of heat added or removed based on the temperature difference between the inside and the ambient, allowing us to calculate the heating and cooling demand. I simulated this model using historical data from 2005 to 2015. The results show that the annual space heating demand ranges from 3 to 8 megawatt hour, while cooling demand varies from 1 to 2 megawatt hour. I've compiled the monthly simulation results, and they illustrate how the demand fluctuates throughout the year, with the highest uncertainty occurring in January and December. In Linköping, the heating demand during winter is substantial, whereas the cooling demand in summer remains relatively low. One energy consumer I initially overlooked was the energy required for heating water. Hot water is essential for daily activities like bathing and washing dishes. In this model, I used a 200-liter insulated water tank designed to maintain the water temperature at 60 degrees centigrade. As with the previous model, a thermal capacitor is used to represent the thermal capacity of the water, while heat loss occurs gradually to the ambient through the tank's walls. The energy required to keep the water at the target temperature is used to calculate the water heating demand. As you can see, more energy is needed during the winter months, similar to the space heating model. However, unlike space heating, hot water is required year-round, even during the summer. Next, I modeled the energy consumption of various household appliances. These are simple blocks that have a power rating and are turned on for specific intervals each day. The lighting used in the model depends on the irradiance values. As the solar radiation goes below a threshold, lighting is turned on. Here is a compiled plot. You can observe seasonal variations in lighting demand. During winter, with shorter daylight hours, the need for lighting increases, while in summer, longer days significantly reduce lighting requirements. Finally, here is a chart summarizing the overall energy usage in my house. As expected, space heating is the largest energy consumer, followed by electrical appliances and water heating. In Linköping, energy demand is significantly higher in the winter compared to the summer. However, demand for lighting, water heating, and other electrical appliances remains relatively consistent throughout the year. There is also a modest cooling demand which can be met with either air conditioning or a simple fan. Now, the key question: how much of this demand can be met with solar panels? Let's find out. Now that we understand my household's energy needs, the next question is how much energy can my solar panels produce? Let's consider a system with 30 solar panels rated at 6 kilowatt of peak power, covering 50% of my roof space, which is about 50 square meters. To model this, I used an open source library called Photovoltaics, which provides components for modeling PV modules, plants, inverters, and more. Radiation data is fed into the PV plant component, which has been configured with 30 modules. The system is connected to a load resistance to extract maximum power from the panels. While this model can be expanded with inverters and batteries for more advanced analysis, for simplicity, I will stick to this basic setup for now. The simulation shows that on a typical summer day, my panels can produce up to 4.5 kilowatt. The power output is not constant. It gradually increases in the morning, peaks around noon, and then decreases in the afternoon. Looking at the annual simulation, it's clear that solar power generation is insufficient during the winter months, particularly in January, February, November, and December. But why is the maximum output only 4.5 kilowatt when the system is rated for 6 kilowatt? This difference is due to the irradiance at Linköping, which peaks at 800 watt per square meters, while the panels are rated for 6 kilowatt under ideal conditions of 1000 watt per square meters. Tilting the panels could improve efficiency, but for this analysis, I assumed a horizontal setup. This chart illustrates solar energy production over the course of the year. As expected, the highest output occurs in June and July, while production drops significantly during the winter months. But the key question remains: can this solar energy meet my household's energy demands during the summer? Here is a comparison of my energy demand and solar power production. While the solar panels help reduce my reliance on grid power, they cannot fully cover my energy needs. The grid power chart shows how solar energy reduces my dependence on grid electricity during the summer months. However, in the winter, I still rely heavily on grid power to meet my energy demands. Assuming I can fully utilize the solar energy I generate, it will reduce my reliance on grid power and result in savings. Based on my current solar production, I estimate annual savings of around 700 US dollars. Let's try to calculate the payback period. The overall cost of the system, including panels, batteries, inverters, and installation, varies depending on location. Maintenance costs also differ based on local conditions. If we consider only the costs of the panels and battery at today's prices, my estimated payback period is about 16 years. To make solar adoption more attractive in my area, I would need government incentives, or I should wait for the module and battery cost to go down further. I created a template notebook that you could use to replicate the study at your own location. Here is a comparison of three different locations. Beijing experiences a wide temperature variation ranging from about minus 5 degrees centigrade to 40 degrees centigrade, resulting in both significant heating and cooling demands. Maximum solar energy production occurs in May, peaking at 800 kilowatt hour. The estimated payback period for solar installation is around 7.5 years. Delhi, on the other hand, has a high cooling demand due to its warmer climate. It benefits from excellent solar radiation with a peak production of 1000 kilowatt hour in June. The payback period is approximately 6 years. And finally, Los Angeles also experiences a wide temperature range from 5 to 40 degrees Celsius, but has higher cooling demand compared to heating. It benefits from very good solar radiation with a peak production of 1200 kilowatt hour in June. The payback period is notably shorter at around 5 years. You might ask which city would have the lowest payback period. To answer that, I uploaded all my results to ChatGPT and asked it to give the list of cities with the payback period. And as you can see here, Calama in Chile had the least payback period of 3.6 years. As the costs of PV modules and batteries continue to decrease, the financial case for solar power strengthens. In my specific case, although I still need grid power in winter, solar allows for partial energy independence during sunnier months. In this presentation, we explored a workflow using System Modeler and Wolfram language to model energy demand, simulate solar power production, and access savings potential. Thank you for your time. I am happy to answer any questions you may have.